to stay alive, and Wendy is responsible for that. So please welcome Wendy Proctor. And she's going to start off our meeting a little bit differently this morning than we're accustomed to. Come on up.
Thank you so much. Well, yes, I'm going to start it out a little bit different. Whenever someone gets up here and talks, they tell about where they came from. Well, this is my fourth career. My first career was a professional singer, dancer, actress all over the country and cruise ships. My second career was in hotel sales. My third career, I was a video producer, director, writer, and avid editor. You know what avid is. It's a huge system to edit. And now I'm in fundraising since 2005, and I earned my Certified Fundraising Executive designation. But I'm going to do a little song for you this morning to start out. I do a lot of singing in the Central Florida area, and it is my gift back to the community. I used to do it professionally. I was one of the voices of Liberty at Epcot. If you've ever been in the American Adventure, I used to work there, among other shows. But today it's not about me and about my singing. I love to sing, but I love just as much to talk about Camp Boggy Creek. Now, for those of you out there who has never heard of Camp Boggy Creek, wow, you're going to get an education today, and it really is valuable because you can use this. And you'll see what I mean. But I'd like to start out my presentation with a short video from the folks that Steve did mention. And here it comes. I don't know if we need to turn off lights. I think it's okay, right?
Yes.
Whenever I'm in the dumps, I come back here and it reaffirms everything that I think is really good and generous about this country. And to have some kid come up who's been in the hospital for 6 months out of the year and say, this place, to come back here is what I live for.
My condition, primary pulmonary hypertension. My lungs can't open like yours.
I had chemo and it made my hair go away. And I had to get a bone marrow transplant, a bone marrow biopsy, an x-ray, and an operation. This summer I discovered that I had Hodgkin's disease.
Well, you hear everything about cancer, especially when your children. That's why it's so hard. Why not me?
I have to get chemo and I have to get shots.
We went to the hospital and they did a bone marrow aspiration and said that it was leukemia.
These children suffer pain, they suffer in ways that you and I never will. And yet they're kids, they're just children, they shouldn't have to do that.
When I had my second heart surgery, my parents were talking to one of the nurses, and they said, oh, there's this camp called Boggy Creek that I'll invite you to this next year.
What makes Boggy Creek unique is the fact that this is a camp for kids who could not go to another camp. All these children are so ill and have so many medications that there's no way that any other camps are going to accept these children.
We have illnesses ranging from cancer to hemophilia, immunology, some kids HIV positive. We have children who are bound in wheelchairs or crutches. You wouldn't know that there's anything wrong with the way they run around, sing, dance, smile, jump. They're here just for we are, just to have a good time and play. Everywhere you look, there's a little piece of magic.
When you're with all the other campers and just having fun, you just forget about that you have a disease.
Because no one can make fun of me or anything because they're just the same as me.
My friends here have like problems too, and I can talk to them and understand them.
They develop friendships with kids who have illnesses, and they begin to realize that they're not alone.
I've had, they call a window. I had that done, and no one else in my cabin's had that done. They've all had open heart surgery, so it's like really cool. I can talk about that to them, and they can talk about open heart surgery to me.
When they go to Boggy Creek, they're just like everybody else. And they're allowed to be kids. I mean, they can really, really, for that time, be just a normal kid.
I can't go home and whine about my life anymore when I come here for a week. Our job description is to make sure each and every one of these kids has the best week of their lives. And I think a lot of times we accomplish that.
I see some of the strongest kids I've ever seen with the stuff they've had to deal with and just take it like it's a normal day.
We empower them to do things they've never thought they could ever do.
I see y'all.
Family Weekend is one of my favorite programs that we offer here at camp. parents talk to each other. They open up and they just share stories with each other.
You're instantly family. You know, there's a common thread that runs through all of us.
If it weren't through the generous contributions of people putting together Boggy Creek, I don't know how a lot of families would be able to cope.
As you understand, we all need somebody to lean on.
Those are overwhelming. If it were dependent upon us to be able to provide this for her, our daughter wouldn't be able to attend because
suffering that they are going through. And yet you see the love that they share with each other. I come away just rededicating myself to the cause.
At school, they try to make fun of me, but at Boggy Creek, nobody said words that. Lots of hugs.
When I'm feeling down, I think of Boggy. Because at Boggy, your whole world's just going the way you want it.
Think of what a great, great world it would be if everybody out there did their own thing. But then there's just one more thing to help someone else. That's what I ask people to do with Boggy Creek. Do your own thing. But do your own thing plus one, and make that plus one Boggy Creek. There's an old saying, you can't help someone up the hill without getting a little bit closer to the top yourself.
And that is a little bit about Boggy.
Great film.
Thank you.
It works, I tell you.
It made us all cry. It's not even 9:30.
No kidding.
I'm trying to get my right presentation.
By the way, we've never had a meeting kicked off with music like that. It raises the bar for everyone else in the room.
Yeah. And if
Feel you're next. I'll give it my next.
Every time I sing at, or when I speak all over at club meetings, Kiwanis and Rotaries and Civitan, and I was at a Lions Club this morning at 7 a.m. But I say, well, could you join our club and come back and sing like that every club meeting? I go, boy, I wish I could. But now, Camp Boggy Creek, it's a place of dreams, of joy, and of possibilities. And you could see on that video that there were a lot of smiles. This place is not like a regular camp. Like you and I are used to, like a Boy Scout or Girl Scout camp that we grew up with. This camp is amazing because we offer so much more for the individual child to empower them to make their own decisions. And I want to thank 1Million Cups and Steve Hiller and Ray Devnari for inviting me and introducing me to 1Million Cups. Very, very thankful to be here this morning, so thank you guys. And thank you to Steve, who he went over my presentation with me because this is a little bit different than what I normally do, because I'm usually out soliciting for funds to help us with the camp. But today, I'm going to show you a little bit about camp, and then I'm going to show you how we do things. Are there any other fundraisers in the crowd here? Very good. So maybe you'll take some pointers away. I hope I say something good for you. So this is what my presentation is going to include today. It's going to be the stage of our business. Our product is someone's need, and our product right now is a camp that caters to children who have one of our 15 different illness groups that we serve. The problems that we solve, the name, Hole in the Wall Gang Camp, I think came from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, if I'm not correct. Yes, okay. And that is the first camp, as Steve mentioned, up in Connecticut. And the second camp was ours, the Camp Boggy Creek. Now, whenever I say Boggy Creek or Camp Boggy Creek, they say, oh, you're down by the airport. No, the international airport, that is in Orlando. I say, no, there's a Boggy Creek Road there, but that's not where our camp is. We are located in Eustis. So the name, we think, came from Paul Newman coming in on a plane and passing by Boggy Creek Road and seeing it, saying, hey, that might be a nice name for a camp, Camp Boggy Creek. So that's where we are. And who is our target market, our customers, our initial launch capital, how that all came about, our competition, how we find our share of the wallet, and that was one of Steve's terms, the wallet. And we are vying against all of the other nonprofits in the area. And as you know, every nonprofit has a story. They're all worthwhile. But we are all sharing looking for funds from this community to support us. And how do we generate revenue? And if you know anything about the reports that come out every year, I know in fundraising, $390.5 billion went to nonprofits in 2016, and $410.02 billion went to nonprofits in 2017. So that's a big chunk of change that people are giving to nonprofits. It's very interesting where the money comes from. And then finally, how 1 million comes. All of you can help us. So it all begins with a story, as everything does. Stories are important, and the last time I was here in October, the gal there had a story. So I'm going to start with our story. It all began with a little girl. Her name was Jennifer Macy. And by the time Jennifer was 11 years old, she had had 9 neuroblastoma surgeries. So she was a pretty sick little girl. She was from the Fort Lauderdale area. She lived there with her parents, who were both child psychologists. And they noticed that their little girl, Jennifer, was starting to retreat from the world. She didn't want to play with her friends. She didn't want to engage in life, go to school, do activities. She was allowing her illness to take hold of her. And they said, we have got to do something. So they did some research, and they found Paul Newman's very first camp, Hole in the Wall Gang, up in Connecticut. So in the summer, when school was out, they sent little Jennifer up there, knowing it was a medical camp. They would take care of her, and not knowing what to expect. Well, a week later, Jennifer came home, and she was a changed little girl. She was full of life. She wanted to engage with her friends and schools and activities, and she said one very important question to her mom and dad. She said, Mom and Dad, why isn't there a camp like that for kids like me in the state of Florida? They went, wow, you know, it really changed our little girl's life. It turned her around, and she learned so much up there at camp. I think we should try to do this. So they got some of their friends together. A few months later, in walked Paul Newman with a check for seed money to start Camp Boggy Creek, and that's how it all came down. Great story. Well, unfortunately, little Jennifer is no longer with us, but we do have a building named on our campus, the Jennifer Macy Building, because she loved glitter. She loved crafts and arts. So that is our building named Jennifer Macy Building. So this is a very important slide for all of you to know about camp. Who do we serve? We serve children who live in the state of Florida between the ages of 7 and 16 that have one of these illnesses that we serve. So you can see up there, heart, epilepsy, diabetes, kidney, sickle cell, immune deficiency. We've got 15 different illness groups. So how you can help is if you know a family that has a child between the ages of 7 and 16 that has one of these, you can tell them about camp because they can come for free. It is all free to them. During the school year, we have another type of camp called our Family Retreat Weekends. And that's where the entire family gets to come to camp for free. Now, if you're the parents of an ill child and you don't know anything about what this camp is about, you can come try it out on a family retreat weekend. And the neatest thing is they are all grouped together by illness group. So 1 week in the summer, we may have 150 children starting with cancer. The next week is 150 children that are coming with epilepsy. The next 150 children may have spina bifida. And then as well as the family retreat weekends, they are grouped by illness too. So as you saw in the video, you can see a lot of bonding takes place. A lot of between the children and with the adults as well. So the 3 things I always tell people to remember about camp is it's safe, it's medically sound, and it's free. It's safe because each child is buddied up with a camper pal who's 19 years or older and sticks with them like glue. They are safe the entire time and watched over when they are at Camp Boggy Creek. And then we are medically sound because we have a place called The Patch, which is a facility like a hospital, but we call it The Patch, where we patch kids up. It has overnight sleeping rooms, it has treatment rooms, and it also has an emergency room. So we are covered. We have a resident doctor, a resident nurse, and we add more doctors and nurses in the summer when we have 150 children. It's a lot to look after. A lot of doctors take their vacations with us. Several oncologists have been there from the very beginning, and they come during our cancer week. And then of course it's free, which keeps me employed because I do some of the fundraising there. So this is some statistics from 2017. We've served over 1,100 children in summer camp. In our family retreats, over 2,100. And as of this date, we have served over 80,000 campers and their families since we began in 1996. I like to say that's a lot of love and a lot of joy and a lot of possibilities for these children. So there's some statistics, the 410. On the top right, giving by individuals is 70%. Giving by foundations, which a lot of them are owned by individuals, is 16%. Giving by bequest, which is given by individuals, is 9%. And then finally down at the bottom is corporations, 5%. So you can see most of the chunk that we solicit from are individuals in those different categories. We do have corporate partners as well, who gets a corporate work day at camp. You get to send your employees for a great day at camp to help build something or paint something, get camp ready for the summer. So, how we raise funds, how we raise our revenue. We have 3 signature events. That's a special event. We have community outreach. That includes third-party events, which somebody has an event for us, and we just go there and they present us a check, which is very nice. And then clubs and organizations also fundraise for us. Corporations, foundations, /grants, individuals, major and annual gifts, and we have major gifts $10,000 and above. We have them in our Schwarzkopf Society, and that's a gift of $10,000 annually. And then the annual gifts are the ones $9,999 and below to $1,000. That is in our Campfire Partners. We also started a new category called the Newman Circle of Friends. We started that in 2016, and those are folks that have been with us from a long time, and they have gotten cumulatively up to $1 million given to camp. So we have, I think, 16 of those folks. We created a special award for them. We do have healthcare partners. They help us a lot. That's how we go out and tell people, families, about our camp. We do have a couple of recruiters. They are in touch with the hospitals, the doctor's offices. We do have a gal that goes around the state and talks about Camp Boggy Creek as well. And then, well, of course, we have the Legacy Circle, which are gifts, planned gifts, estate gifts. So our special events, we're going to start with that. This is our challenge ride. This is a bicycle ride that we hold once a year. This year, if you've ever been on our challenge ride, it was usually held in September, which was always hot, hot, hot. I felt so bad for those people that were riding the 60 miles. They would come back just drenched and not want to eat a thing. We had this great meal for them. But it's been moved to November, so we hope that it's going to be a little bit cooler. And that is a camp champion right there, and if you see on his bike, he's got her picture there. Those camp champions sign those cards and they give them to the riders to think about why they're riding or why they're sweating so much. So the benefits of sponsorship, we always have a sponsorship package for corporations. Of course, it's employee team building, brand awareness for your company, cycling spots for employees or clients, and a positive corporate citizenship. So it's cause-related marketing. You know, you want to be, a company wants to be engaged with another company that is got great positive feedback. So this is our Bruce Rossmeyer Ride for Children. We do have a member in our audience from the Rossmeyer family today. You were introduced to him, Dean Pepe, is married to one of the Rossmeyer gals. So we're glad to have you here. And this is going to be quite an event next year. It will be on October 5th and 6th. The 5th is a gala at Hard Rock Hotel. And the 6th is the actual ride where we have 500 motorcyclists, or plus 500, ride into camp, and we have a live and silent auction, and it's just a really fun time. It's a fun weekend. And on that note, I want to let you know that we have a chance drawing going, and it is, you can have these cards at the end of our session here, and you can, we are giving away a $50,000 motorcycle that was donated to camp. So if you're interested, if you're a motorcyclist or you know somebody, please take one of these cards that has all the information. You can have 25 entries for this drawing for $25. That's pretty good. So anyway, did I say everything, Dean?
Yes.
Okay, good. And of course, that's Bruce Rossmeyer on the top. He started this two years before camp was even open. He got involved with Camp Boggy Creek and made it his mission to help camp become successful, to help as many children as possible. So these are the benefits in our package. Again, it's brand awareness, marketing directly to a shared audience who loves motorcycles, positive corporate citizenship, and utilize your rider and passenger spots for clients. So it's a win-win all around, just like the challenge ride. Then our third event is our Heart of Fashion, which will be next February at the Alfondin in Winter Park. And you may not recognize those two folks on either side of Mrs. Brenda Schwarzkopf, the general's widow. And that's Eric and Diane Holm, and they own Metro Corral, a lot of the Golden Corrals in the area, and they're also opening a donut shop up here in Jacksonville, I'm sorry, a little bit further north from here. So they're in the food business, and I think they have a hotel as well. But they are our champions as well. And Diane serves on our board. So these are the benefits. I'm not going to go over these, but a lot of benefits for the Hearts Fashion sponsorship as well. And if you have any questions about this, I can surely get you information. So now we get into the fundraising. So in the fundraising cycle, there's 4 different areas. There's acquisition, there's cultivation, solicitation, and then stewardship. And I'm going to be talking about a little bit on each one of those areas. So first is acquisition. How does Camp Boggy Creek acquire new donors? Well, we have the 3 signature events, so somebody may invite somebody, or they may hear about the fashion show or the motorcycle ride or the bicycle ride and come, and that's how they get to know about camp. And we can follow up with them in the future to give them a tour of camp. Tours are big, tours are huge, because you got to see this place firsthand. We have our Around the Campfire breakfasts, which have been very successful. We've had 3 so far, and we are locating them in different parts of Central Florida. The next one will be at Lady Lake. We had one in Windermere, we had one in Lake Mary, so we're kind of moving this Around the Campfire breakfast around. It's a free breakfast, so if you ever see it, you are all invited to come. Just bring your friends. It's a really nice event, and you get to hear about camp. We have a direct mail annual appeal that goes out several times a year. We have a newsletter called Creek Speak, which I brought several, enough for every one of you to have one. It's on the side here, along with our brochure, The Joy of Yes, and my card and our camp schedule. So if you would like to pick those up on your way out, please do so. And of course, I do a lot of speaking engagements. A couple of my colleagues do as well. And then if you ever wanted to have some folks into your home to have me come or one of our other speakers come and tell them about Camp Boggy Creek, we do a whole presentation that way as well. It's really nice. So the cultivation part, cultivation and relationship building, because in my business, as in most business, it's all about relationships. People give money to people. When I did my CFRE testing for that designation, that was one of the questions. People give money to institutions, to an idea, to a building. No, they give money to people. So I am in the relationship building business. So I do that by face-to-face meetings. I give tours. If you come on a tour and it is when camp is in session, we can arrange for you to have lunch with the campers. And it's a lot of fun. You get to see them face-to-face and see all the activities that happen during lunch. I do phone calls, invitation to special camp activities that we have, and then we have special day greeting cards, make sure birthdays and anniversaries. So pretty much what you do in sales. Kind of the same thing. A lot of you may be in sales. Well, you do that. It's all about the relationship building and remember people's special days. So then solicitation. This is closing the gift. Be prepared and know your donor. And that's like product knowledge. You have to know what your product is. I know camp. I know about camp. But I know about my donor because I've done some research on them. I've spent time with them. I know what their likes and dislikes are. I know that maybe a couple has a grandchild that has epilepsy. So maybe I talk to them about the epilepsy camp. They may not live in the state, but they would like to help anyway in our state. And cultivation works. That, in my business, that is how the major gifts are closed. And we usually say there's about 7 touches. So 7 touches, or a touch could be a card, it could be a phone call, it could be lunch with our CEO, it could be a tour, anything like that. But 7 touches over maybe a year and a half. It is not a fast process, but you're relationship building again. And then what's really important is to have an engaged board. We do have an engaged board. Our board members come from all over the state. They come 4 times a year for a board meeting. They are all donors to camp, thankfully. That is really great. And the peer-to-peer ask is always very important. I myself am not a millionaire, so I don't run in those circles, but a lot of them do, and they have access to those types of people. And for me, I always say, you are the connector. Our board members, what is your role? You are a connector. I have no problem meeting somebody, enjoying their company, cultivating them with you, and then the words coming out of my mouth, would you consider a gift of $1 million? That's very easy for me to say. It might not be so easy for one of our board members. And then stewardship. This is extremely important because once you have a donor in your nonprofit, you want to steward them to make them feel like they are still engaged. They just didn't give you some money and then you drop them. So we have ways to steward our donors. We have the Creek Speak newsletter that they get. Comes out 3 or 4 times a year. We have birthday, anniversary, and Thanksgiving cards, invitations to our special events. We do have the Schwarzkopf Society luncheon that we do invite guests to every now and then. And we have the Day of Remembrance, and this is really an important day. Once a year in October, we invite folks to come to remember somebody that they've lost. And at camp, because these children are ill, we have lost quite a few campers. We've lost quite a few family members. And I know that several families come every year to remember somebody that they've lost. And we make a wreath out of the woods, things in the woods, and we set it afloat on our lake. We have our campfire partners activities and then corporate partnerships. So they can come and spend time at camp and just be involved that way. And then our biggest challenge is because we are surrounded on 3 sides by the Seminole State Forest, we're kind of out of the way. We're not mainstream, so it takes a little bit of time to get to us and to give a tour, a face-to-face tour. But lots of people do, and that is our biggest closing tool. And I would invite all of you to come at some time because it really is beneficial for you to know about camp so that you can share it with somebody who may have a child that is sick with one of these illnesses. And it could be asthma, severe asthma. We have a whole asthma camp because those kids can't go to the regular camp. Then all the medications are administered by our doctors and our nurses. And then securing corporate partnerships. which is a larger financial commitment. We need to find out when their annual budgets are finalized and make sure that we put a proposal together so that they can have the benefit of becoming one of our Camp Boggy Creek partners. So, how 1 Million Cups can help us: corporate engagement through signature events or corporate philanthropy. We've got sponsorships for everything. Schedule a tour. It's only a 53-minute drive from this location. I checked it out, so it's only 53 minutes, under an hour. And as I said, lunch is available with the campers and families at no charge to you, but it's a lot of fun. And you can hear inspiring stories because you can see firsthand the impact that camp makes on these children. So, and see where they sleep. You know, the cabins are just adorable. So I want to thank you for your attention, and I know I rattled off a lot of information, and I wanted to leave time for Q&A. Before I do that, one more thing. Paul Newman has his Newman Owens Foundation. As you know, you go to the grocery store, you see the salad dressing and the soccer-rooney pizza or spaghetti sauce. Well, all of that, it says all proceeds go to charity. Well, it does. It goes to his Newman's Own Foundation, and they use that money to fund new camps and also to help fund the research to eradicate the disease groups that we do serve. And we get the benefit of getting all of their products. So I have a goodie bag here that I want to give away to somebody who has their birthday closest to Paul Newman's. And that is January 26th. Anybody? What?
27.
Good choice.
Only one time I did that. I got somebody on January 26th. So. Anyway,
Check his ID. Check his ID.
I'm calling BS on that one.